Hey guys, Dov here with another battle for Total War Warhammer 2 multiplayer. We're here with another community cast replay. This one's from Evan. He's taking on Lotus Moon, and we've got Empire versus High Elves. Lotus Moon is a streamer. If I remember, I'll be sure to link to his Twitch channel. Lotus, if you're watching this and if for some reason I have forgotten, feel free to post it in a comment yourself, a link to your Twitch channel. Definitely a very good player. He's been without a PC setup for a little while and recently has returned. And yeah, today Evan's going to be taking him on with High Elves versus Empire. So you can see both players have gone for a very shooting-centric build. We've got 3 Outriders here. Marcus Wolfheart with the Black Lions, a Bright Wizard for Fireballs. Also got some Silver Bullets, more Handgunners hidden in the woods, and Royal Altar Griffites. As for the High Elves, Alariel is currently flying, doing her best hiding in a tree impression. We've also got a Star Dragon here. Looks like the Fireborn. 2 Handmaidens on horseback, which I'm a huge fan of. A couple Shadow Warriors, which I am less of a fan of. And unit of Dragon Princes with some token Spearmen scattered around. And yeah, one other thing, I actually love the Black Lions. Thematically, aesthetically, in terms of performance, they're an awesome unit. They're a little bit expensive since the nerf, that's fine. But I do think that steam tanks are just kind of objectively better, being that they're unbreakable, they have longer range. Steam tanks, missile attacks, although they don't do nearly as much burst damage, they do kill models of things like cavalry and infantry very consistently. And the fact that it's unbreakable causes terror, does armor-piercing melee damage with a very high charge bonus. I think it's just more versatile, certainly, than the Black Lions here, and you have to allocate less resources to protect it. That being said, the one advantage that the Black Lions do have is much higher burst damage, obviously, with that mounted Hellblaster there. You can see Marcus is having a bit of a bow fight with his Handmaiden here, which is one that Marcus will absolutely win, no problem. He's got way more missile damage than those Handmaidens. Plus, they're on horseback, which means they are subject to his bonus versus large, so that's a very favorable skirmish fight. Lotus Moon, sensing that he needs to kind of push the objective here, since he is a little bit outranged. The Star Dragon, obviously a major tank, a lot of HP, but has taken quite a bit of damage already. Let's see what Marcus does. Of course, with Alariel on the field, the Star Dragon can basically get all the way to its healing cap without too much issue. But here come these Dragon Princes. They are going to land home a charge against the Black Lions here, and you can see even without anti-large armor piercing, they still do a lot of damage on the charge there. These Empire Knights going to come in and respond, kind of body block those Dragon Princes there, but even still, the Black Lions taking a lot of damage. Meanwhile, over on the far side, Marcus going to use his net here, net in the Fireborn. Unfortunately, does not really have a lot of great units to follow up. Instead, he's focusing all of his fire on that Star Dragon there, which is definitely understandable. It's the most expensive unit on the field, even more expensive than these Fireborn here. Alariel's going to use her healing proc, though, and drive down. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like the Star Dragon is actually inside, but there we go. The charge animation brings him into the light, into the spotlight here as he hits those beautiful healing rays. And yeah, of course, some of the Fireborn will be getting that as well. It looks like Alariel's also in the area of effect. But Marcus doing a great job here, bursting down that Star Dragon. And even still, the bounce power pretty close. The Empire troops, yeah, beating in some areas. Bit of a swing and a miss on that Burning Head there, but that's just fine. These Outriders got a really nice concave, but you can see the Black Lions there got completely wrecked. Down to 1 model. They likely won't come back. Unfortunately, they did get some good damage initially early on, but yeah, it kind of fell apart there in the late game. But very critically, the Star Dragon got away with about 500 HP left, and if Alariel also gets away and goes after him and heals him up, he absolutely can come back, still make a big impact on this battle. You can see Marcus here, still relatively healthy. The balance power is slightly in the Empire's favor at this point, but Alariel going to pull away there. She eats some bullets from those handgunners, and yeah, maybe pull away. It looks like dumping a heal off into those Spearmen and Shadow Warriors. Shadow Warriors so far just kind of counter-skirmish against the Outriders. They have okay combat stats, so they actually shouldn't worry too much about these Outriders charging them in melee. It's not great because they'll be interrupting them, but I mean, 36 and 40 on melee stats, much better than the Outriders, so they should be okay in melee there. Meanwhile, Alariel kind of pulling back. She's got one of her Handmaidens pulling back as well. The Star Dragon going to be near. It would be nice, in my opinion, if the Handmaidens got Guardian. I don't think the High Elves have anyone with Guardian, do they? No, the Nobles have Guardian, that's right. Wait, do they? I'll have to check. Anyway, Fireborn here coming back. We've got Dragon Princes, a few more of them very tattered out on this periphery. Lotus Moon staying very patient, getting his Star Dragon and his other forces healed back up. And you can see, even with them very tattered, it's still super dangerous for the Empire here. Even this very tattered, kind of beat-up High Elf army. The fact that Marcus is so healthy is definitely helpful. The Fire Wizard is barely still here, but, I mean, he's definitely still here. And the kind of Shadow Warrior advance being broken up a little bit there. These Fireborn, will they actually land home a charge? Ooh, one last volley right before the charge lands. Drops a few of the models right before they make contact. That was a beautiful shot right there. Granted, it doesn't take much to deal with them, but the Outriders firing from the low ground up on top of the hill actually shatter the Fireborn there, finish off a few of those unit models. These other Dragon Princes also getting finished off there. And yeah, the Shadow Warriors still have a little bit of ammo left, so they can continue to kind of poke away here, fulfill that attacking rule. And also the Star Dragon actually I thought he had to be on the ground to get that Star of Avalor, and you learn something new every day. They can just float above the light and still get the healing. And you can see how much that healing just dragged the balance of power back towards center. A nice fireball going to be unleashed there. Looks like it makes contact on the Star Dragon. Marcus still has quite a bit of ammo left, though. So he could potentially deal with all of these single entities and characters here. But we'll see. Empire just kind of securing the back line once again, making sure they see off all those Shadow Warriors and the Dragon Princes. And the handgunners here are going to be very effective. Handgunners do really nice burst damage. Even though they don't have the most missile damage in the world, it's like purely AP. And because the missiles travel so fast, they hit very consistently. They tend to be very, very accurate. That's one of the main things about gunpowder units that's kind of underrated. Because the missiles travel so fast, and because they move in a straight line, they tend to be very, very accurate, right? And especially even shooting at like flying units, a lot more so than bows, certainly. Guns can just make consistent contact. So it's a good situation here. Looks like that one Black Lion did come back actually right on the edge of the map. So we'll fast forward a little bit as these players kind of reposition here. Marcus throws out an aimed shot, does a ton of damage to that Star Dragon. So yeah, basically the High Elves on a little bit of a timer here just because Marcus does so much missile damage. And as a counter skirmish option, Marcus really is exceptional. I mean, he has the nets. He himself does a ton of damage. He's a little bit vulnerable, but in a situation like this where Lotus is, let's say, known for playing in this style, so, you know, kind of expecting that and bringing a build to prepare for it, Marcus and kind of having this counter shooting is very often a good way to go about it. For Lotus' side, I definitely think this build has quite a bit of merit. I'm a huge fan, like I said, of the Handmaidens. I mean, obviously, Star Dragon and Ilariel is pretty much always competitive. I'm not the biggest fan of Shadow Warriors in the world. I'll talk more about why in just a second. I don't think they're completely terrible, but the Dragon Princes is another one that I think, like, one unit would be pretty decent, but oh man, they just got straight up finished off there by those guns. But I think there is certainly some advantage to going a little bit wider here, with like Illyrian Reavers especially, maybe some Silver Helms, just going with a bit more numbers, more volume of cavalry to try and overwhelm the Empire a little bit. Yeah, Ilariel making her final stand here, diving down into these handgunners. She is an absolute force of nature herself, just refusing to rout here, but that is pretty much going to be all she wrote, as she gets hit by a fireball and finally gives up the fight. So very well played to both players. Hopefully you guys enjoyed watching that one. Yeah, I already kind of said my piece about the Black Lions. They're definitely a fun unit, but I do think a Steam Tank is more competitive. The Royal Griphites, likewise. Personally, recently you guys have been seeing me use the Lance Demigryphs a lot more, just because they have comparable melee defense. They're a lot cheaper, and you can support them the same with the Warrior Priest, and they get pretty comparable performance. And the charge bonus, especially when you're up against a flying faction and using them to countercharge units that come down to the ground, I just find that the Lance Demigryphs are a little bit more efficient at that in terms of cost. So that's kind of my 2 cents there. Going over to the High Elves, Yeah, I think, I know in my video the other day I said the less elves the better, and I do sort of stick by that to a degree, but I think, yeah, I don't know. For Shadow Warriors, they're, what, 850? They do have better missile damage. Let's see, 22 missile damage versus 19 for Illyrian Reaver. So they do have slightly better missile damage than Reavers. They also have 15 more unit models, which just gives them more overall DPS, have slightly more ammunition as well, and yeah, basically the same combat stats, just slightly better melee defense. Then obviously the Reaver Archers are much faster. They have a 24 charge bonus, which is decent. And yeah, the thing about it is with the Reaver Archers being 100 cheaper, just because they're mobile, they can tend to stay out of the way of things like burning heads. Just the flexibility of being on a horse, something that I tend to prefer a little bit more over the Shadow Warriors. And then likewise with the Dragon Princes, like one unit of Dragon Princes, he was able to get in there and on one charge basically take out the Black Lions, which is extremely impressive, right? Just goes to show that 80 charge bonus, the 44 weapon strength is legit from Dragon Princes, absolutely. I think bringing the one would have been pretty good, but the Fireborn, especially because they're so expensive, probably would have cut them and either brought like 2 units of Silver Helms, maybe find the funds to try and grab them some shields, or like 2 to 3 units of Illyrian Reavers. These 551s with their 40 charge bonus on a rear charge, even on something like Empire Knights, you can get a rear charge, and again, even like Demigryph Knights, a rear charge, side charge, charging into Empire State Troops, just that 40 charge bonus is really nice for a unit in this price range, and I think maybe going with a little bit wider of a build with more numbers could be better. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'm sure, Lotus, if you're watching this, you'll also let me know your thoughts about what you could have done potentially better there. But big thanks for Evan once again, to Evan rather, for sending that one in. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.